Okay, Brian. So today I thought it'd be a good idea just to talk about the current deal that we've got um, with this Parkview multiplex that we've been talking about.
All right, Zoo. What do I have to do to get you into a multiplex today?
uh, you've
Feel
always
like a used car salesman, you know? It's like, all right.
so you pretty much sold it to me, but just for the sake of the viewers and anyone who might be interested, I suppose we can give them the opportunity to maybe buy it instead.
Well, as you well know, this one's very tempted to keep ourselves, but we come across these every day now, and we're very picky of the ones we do take in and to offer to our customers so that they're getting the best deal possible. Um, we want to put a disclaimer out there that this particular deal that we're going to offer today is fairly typical. However, it's not always the case. You know, there's some that they're only like a single family home, which still have values in other ways. This particular one, which is a multiplex, has it's actually considered a triplex because it has three rentals in one home. So you have three sources of income out of one uh, house, we'll say. And
Yeah, Brian, just to clarify that as well, I'll just show the picture just so that people just got an idea of what we're looking
oh, look at that! That's snow. It never snows here.
at. It never snows.
It does. It does. Actually, we've been very generous this year. I believe the day that was taken, it snowed. So we had I think one or two snow days here, and it was very light. Almost the next day, it was all gone. So, but
Yeah, I had a choice of pictures. I had this picture and I had a picture without the snow. But I thought this time of the season, this was more appropriate just because it had the snow.
okay. Well, thanks for that. But and we can see the front. Of course, we need to clean it up in the front, which we'll um, probably do. I think the 9th or the 10th of this month, we'll get in there and just clean up the front and um, get a few things straightened up there. But we can actually offer it right now because it's under contract. So and uh, this particular home has a lot of value to it. Not only because of the rental potential, as you saw in the above the picture, but also in the refinancing structure that we're setting up here for our investors. You'll be able to get your investment back so you can invest into another home. So, and then just continue that process. So, and also what's unique about this particular home is we're selling it under value. So you're buying it with equity in it as well. So this is a really not, again, we're very tempted to keep it ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what we've been talking about, but um, I suppose we need to give investors an opportunity to buy something. So, yeah. And just regarding the building, Brian, so what we're talking about is we're talking about an apartment per level, basically. So we got
Correct.
three stories on this building.
Correct.
And what have we got? We got a two-bedroom on the first and second floor there. Is that the ground and the first?
Correct. Yes. There'll be two bedroom, one bath on each level. And then of course the upper third level is one bedroom. It's kind of like more like a apartment loft. Like, so
Okay, that's nice.
you'll
And
have like a little bathroom, a little kitchenette, a little
yeah,
sitting area and a bedroom. So
And I think you mentioned as well the plot size is pretty good. You said something about we can fit around 8 cars in the back.
Yeah,
You reckon? Or,
you don't notice it from the front, but when if you follow that car to the back, there is a garage back there, a two-car garage,
okay,
and also to the left, you get into the back there, in the back towards the left, you have plenty of or ample parking there for quite a number of cars, so that nobody blocks anybody, and so you don't have to actually park in the driveway itself.
okay,
Park into the back, and no one renter should obstruct the other.
okay,
Also, what's possible with this setup is you can, because you have 3 apartments there, you could technically charge a little more for use of the garage if they wanted. So you can, tack on maybe $50 extra a month to use the garage. So,
oh, nice.
so you have a little more stuff there going on if you'd like, or not, and just I don't know.
Well, it's available for storage for either the owner or the tenants, then, isn't it?
Perhaps. So I guess on that one it'd be first come, first served, unless you set up the garage where when it had 2 spots in it, one for the upper, one for the lower.
Yeah.
Again, some folks don't like snow on their cars and would want to take advantage of that, but at the same time, you have that option, I suppose. So.
Mm-hmm.
It's not inconceivable at all. So,
Yeah, good. Yeah, so I think the building looks substantial. And the other question I had is, I really like. I mean, I like the name Parkview. I get the impression that. Do you have a view of a park? Is it a nice location? This.
on a technical, it's a street name,
Okay.
but there is, I think, a few metro parks in the area,
Mm-hmm.
and it's also that particular area has some easy access to various parts of the city, whether you're in or out of the city, working in the city or out of the city, around some of the um, hospitals. Also, your rates, like within a mile of a very couple of elite areas in Cleveland, like Shaker Square, for example.
Okay.
A very, very desirable place to be, especially if you have rentals. But so we're just right on the edge there. So all in all, for the bang for the buck, it's dynamite. I mean, it's can't get much better than that unless you basically own an apartment building. So
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good. So, Brian, just regarding the numbers and the figures, I think we've got this back to front here. I think possibly start with the costs. So, to buy the unit as it is $35,000, but it needs some renovation. You've had a look at it. You've got an idea of what needs to be done.
yeah, the actual buy is $35K. The renovation estimate is a little on the higher side for cushion reasons, I suppose. But at some point, someone decided they wanted the sinks out of the place, so we're gonna have to replace the sinks, both units, and then the upper unit has to put another sink in there. But while you're at it, you might as well just redo the counters real quick. The countertops, the counters themselves are all in adequate condition.
You mean the cabinet?
Yeah, with a little cleaning, you'll be fine. If you want to change the hardware, that's fine. All the floors are wood floors.
Mm-hmm.
We should, while we're there, go ahead and just kind of recondition them.
Yeah.
Whether you want to just oil them down or repolyurethane them to give them, long durability, which I would recommend. And that's all part of the estimated renovation cost. So, also while we're at it, we have to install. So I would put new water heaters in and new furnaces, and then we'll have a nice piece of property for a long, trouble-free, or almost maintenance-free.
Okay. Okay, I'll just take a note of that. Water heaters, furnaces, and
well, you're gonna. That's part of the renovation estimate.
yeah.
So you actually should. Let me see.
Well, we'll break this all down into more detail.
Yeah, I should break that down a little better. But.
Yeah, Reno. I'll just say Reno just includes. We'll break this down in more detail later on.
Yeah, I know. I have. Again, we're using. Currently, we're using what's called tankless water heaters. Not only because they're more efficient, but they're actually cheaper.
Okay.
Rather than a $400, $500 water heater, we're spending like I think $225 for them, and they do the same job. So virtually for almost the cost of one water heater, we're getting two. On this particular house, we're going to need three. So in that, the tankless water heaters are the way to go. They're the future. This particular home also, I believe it has a heating unit that's already up in the upper unit. That's still there. Probably needs to be serviced. So,
is that like one of these blown air water heater?
Yeah, it gives you heat, and it just heats that whole room.
I see.
Because it is an efficiency. It's not like a full-blown apartment. It's like a loft apartment, so.
Yeah. And
for someone that's going to the college up there and it's close by, or something like that. Someone is looking for a inexpensive place to live while they're going to school, or something of that nature. So
Brian, everything that you've pretty much mentioned about renovation, there doesn't seem to be anything structural. It tends to be more cosmetic.
No, it has the roof. From appearance, only looks to be a couple years old. It virtually has almost all new windows in it. One of the windows, I think, in the back was it's a double pane. One of the panes is broken. We have a local hardware store that can fix that easily, so that we don't have to actually replace the whole window, which is nice. Just some basic cleaning up of the property because it's been neglected for a while,
Yeah. Has it been empty for a little while?
In what regards?
Like nobody's been living there. It's been vacant for a little while. So just
No, it's as far as I can tell, it's been vacant for maybe a year and a half now.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Fine. So there'll be a little bit of cleaning up to do.
As I said, as soon as I take possession of it, I'm going to put one of my guys in there. We're going to just clean it all up so that our investor doesn't have to. Give them a good foundation, and just want to roughly go over everything one more time before we turn it over to one of our investors. So,
yeah. Okay. All right. Super. So I think we've got a good snapshot of the costs and what's involved there. So should we just run through the figures on the actual rental once we've got it ready, rent ready?
I believe I've read it a few different ways. We've got, I think it's like a 35% yield rate.
Okay.
around that range.
So would that, what are we talking about there? Gross, net, what are we talking about, 35%?
That's well, on this one, I revert back to my old method.
Mm-hmm.
I look at a house, and if it can almost pay for itself in a year's time, I don't even think about it anymore. I buy it.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I jump on it. So potentially this one can pay for itself, what, 2 years? 2 year time?
This is why.
That's with a heavy renovation. So, you know, like I said, these floors are in dynamite condition already. They need to be cleaned and then just resurfaced. So, and that's the ideal surface for renters anyway. So
Yeah.
it takes a lot to damage these floors, and even if they do, you just resurface them again. So
Yeah.
beats changing rugs all the time. I've had some we've reconditioned, and we've had a few renters through already and over the years, and haven't had to do anything. So just sweep clean and done. So, but that's going to depend also on our renters that we have. We always look for high quality renters whenever possible. You go the other route with Section 8s, which this is also plausible for.
Mm-hmm.
They're not always the cleanest. They're not always not. It's hit and miss. You have to do your due diligence when you find any kind of renter, regardless of what source you use. I think I just had another, one of my other rentals, I just incorporated another company where they find renters for you for half month's rent, which is a good deal if you don't use a management company. So more than likely you'll want to use one of the management companies we have for you on these properties that we'll be selling over the next year here. They do a good job. They help. Part of their fee is finding the renter for the place, so it kind of removes a lot of the owner's responsibility. They take care of paying the utilities, if there are any, and give you a monthly report as well. So we can tidy this up into a nice little package for someone, which is a plus for those that are overseas. Or even if you're in the United States and you just live in another state, you don't want to visit your property every month, so.
Yeah. I'm in agreement with you, Brian, on this. I think it's a really attractive deal, and we've already spoken about considering to keep this, but we have offered it out. Well, we are going to offer this out, but I think at these figures, if we're getting like $22K a year pretty much in the rental, and $35K to pick it up, 15 to tidy it up. Okay, there's a little bit of cost initially just to get it rent ready. So 50,000 we're in, getting $22K a year, a little over 2 years, it's paid itself.
I believe that renovation is going to be a bit less. Again, we just put a little higher for discrepancies in case you have they decide to use one of their own renovators.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you're going to get different prices here for the same amount of work. So it's kind of
I still think though, even if it's plus or minus, say 2K or whatever, 22K a year, even if it was 48, it's still 2 years. You're getting this property almost paid off, and there's no, I don't see investments like this. I haven't seen investments this good for a while. So it is a good opportunity.
Well, these are the ones we look for. These are the ones we want.
Yeah.
I've got more like I've been training people for this for a while now. They're starting to understand what I want, and we've got them coming now. So, uh, you know, yeah, we should probably ask a little more, but uh, one of our sciences here is to give value in property to our customers so that they can refinance it and have still have equity in it, so and move on to the next one, so you can buy more and more, keep that cycle going.
Yeah. The other thing is, Brian, I mean, you have and I have, we come across people who just, they say to us point blank, too good to be true. And to me, sometimes, yeah, things might look like that on the face of it, but these
Well,
opportunities
I
are,
don't I don't worry about that, Zool, because we'll buy it.
yeah,
I
exactly.
have no problems pulling the trigger on
Yeah.
this whatsoever.
Yeah,
So
100%. But I think what I just want to get over to, people who might be looking at this and thinking, too good to be true. Well, I've been in this position a lot of times during my 25 years investing, and getting early is the motto that's always worked for me. The opportunities now, and this opportunity might not be there in the next 6 to 12 months. And the people who get in now and get these prime
well,
properties.
yeah, you're absolutely correct, Zool. We're right now in a really good time to buy them like this. And again, that it's going to vary a bit. We're going to come across a few that the cap rate or the yield rate might not be quite as high as this one. But we're always in search of the highest ones possible, and that's what we do. I mean, I've been renovating for so long now, and I looked at it in a different way. I used to throw these away, so and I've literally thrown millions of dollars away. So it's like, why not figure out a way to sell these to the folks that want to buy and hold, and what are the various ways to buy and hold. And um, it's a years of experience and years of having other mentors and watching other investors do this. You go, well, why can't I?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's stopping me from doing stuff like this? And I've been doing this now. So, and there's no reason why you and I cannot pass these on to other like-minded people and say, hey, here's a deal. If you don't want it, there's 10 other people behind you to do. It's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Um,
think, I mean, investors, I've dealt with people in London. Obviously, you've dealt with people in the US, but people have become so accustomed to getting 6% rental yields in New York,
I do.
London,
Yes. I
and
mean,
that,
I was, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm gonna, I was at an auction last year. They were apartment buildings in, on the other part over on the other side of Solon. It was another university over there, and it's like a college town. That's where you rent to college kids, which is a good proposition because you have a solid 2-year rental with them when they're going to these colleges for the 2 years. Typically, also their parents are paying the bill, or they're set up, for the 2 years. But the person that was selling these units was a lawyer, and he was old and he just wanted out. He had several buildings he was selling. Uh, the person that bought them was a doctor, and when you did all the numbers, I think it was a 6-unit building. I think I offered 200,000 for it. Of course, apparently I was the low bidder, but he bought it for way over that. It turned out he was only getting maybe 5% interest on his money when he was all done, 5% cap rate or yield rate.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? Why do these folks do that? And it's because they're used to taking in so much money that they have to do something with it. And real estate is one of the best ways to hold your money and get a return on your money, even if it's 5%, because 5% is a lot better than 0.5% from a bank.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You say, oh, let me put it into a mutual fund and get 0.5% for the time it's in there. And it's like, so 5% is very attractive in real estate for that purpose. To get 5% on your money is like so much better than the bank. And when you look at us kind of guys, that's not really proper English, sorry, but and we can get 12 and 20 and 30.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, how is this possible? Real estate. It's in real estate. That's why.
Yeah. It's opening their minds to this opportunity that they don't really see every day. I think, we've got opportunities that other people just don't have access to these kind of properties, and people need to realize these are genuine deals. And
now you know why I'm no longer throwing these in the trash can. So.
Yeah, absolutely. But we see these as cash cows. We see these as little gold nuggets.
Absolutely, yeah.
What I love about these opportunities as well is $50,000. People can get that. They can get that together as cash. They don't need to go out and find loans and this and that. Well, they can if they want to, but people have got this, and this is accessible as a cash purchase. Instead of you going out in New York City, and I don't know what you spend there, but I can imagine you start at $500,000, to buy anything out there, a shoebox.
Some of this, yeah. And you're only buying like an apartment at that. So
Exactly.
Well, it depends. The Queens area has lit up quite a bit. And there's still investable properties there, but nowhere else in the country can you buy like this and get such a nice return. It used to be in Florida. When I was doing this in Florida, you could, but you're only seeing $700 return on one unit.
Exactly.
And so these duplexes have their advantages with getting multiple rents out of one building, which is a nice feature. The downside is being able to extract our equity out of them, as opposed to a single family home. And that's another part of our strategies here, is because a single family home, you want to extract the equity out of it. The banks are more likely to give you the maximum on that than they would a duplex.
Okay.
But because we're giving the duplex with a lot of equity in it, you're able to meet what you pay for the thing, if not a little more, so that you can extract it out and buy another one. So
yeah.
So it's a nice little trick. Love you, someone to come aboard and start with us on that. More than likely, there'll be one of a new investor, because this should attract a nice new investor. If not a well-seasoned one. We're not prejudiced. If you're seasoned, come on aboard. We'll sell it. But also, Zoo, we should stress, I think one of our last sales, I think there was an issue with one of the title companies. But we always want to make sure, if you're going to invest with us, that you have money ready. ready to wire to the title companies, or sometimes there's a lawyer title company that we can use as well. But some deals that we come across, and not particularly this one in particular, but there are other ones that we need to move fast on, and it requires an investor that can move with that. So it's important to verify your funds with us, and make sure that you can appropriately transfer wire to the appropriate title companies to take possession, so we can start the transition process as well. So with each home we sell is a transfer process. We have to get the monies over to the seller. Then we have to transfer ownership to the buyer, and then we have to transfer sometimes utilities and such. This is like an deal like this one. There's going to be a few weeks of renovation in it. So you want to get the electric turned on and the gas going, and the water, and those will be transferred to the renters as they come in. So, but the sooner we can get it rented, the better, right? So our goal is to move this fast so that the transfer process happens as quickly as possible, so that the renters are in place, not merely so that you have income coming in, but that you got to think of the renter as your watchdog for the house. They're not only renting from you, but they're taking care of your home, your house, your investment. So I like to get those in place as quickly as possible with the proper renters, because again, it's just better for your investment. So
yeah. Thanks for that, Brian. I'll be uploading a document with some steps, but totally in agreement with you there, where we need to put investors in a position where they're fully informed about the process, and if they can move quickly and efficiently, then it's only going to help their investment in the long term. If they're going to procrastinate about getting the money over to the title company, it's only going to slow down the whole process. And the longer it takes, the longer the property ends up being empty. And, we just want a smooth process, don't we? We want...
Yeah, of course. I mean, in some instances, like if we're transferring from a homeowner, then maybe they've been a homeowner and then they decided to sell their property off, and one of our investors buys it. Typically, the homeowner needs to leave the premises and let the investor take over. And what happens is, in that, they're going to go ahead and cancel their electric, and their utilities with the various gas companies and such. And all of a sudden, the house has no electric, no gas, no water.
Yeah.
And okay, so what's preventing freezing, for example, or what's preventing anything? Maybe some neighbors notice that the electric's off and they start poking around a little, so we always want to get the electric back on or transferred, and that usually can happen really quickly. And the quicker you take possession, the quicker these things can happen. So one of the management companies we have does this very quickly, simply for the reason it protects the home fully, not just partially, we'll say. So now in a house like this one that we're offering today, it's semi-winterized, so we don't need to necessarily worry about that with the transfer, because but the people that are going to put in, like the water heater and the furnaces and stuff, we need to have some electric there and some gas on. It would help to make it work properly. And so there's a couple of things that need to happen while the transfer happens. It's kind of almost simultaneously, so that it's almost seamless and makes it the most efficient to get everything done promptly and get it rented, so we can get renters in there. So
Yeah.
So there's reasons for it. It's not because we want to see your money come out of your accounts and into another account. It's because that transfer helps the title company title property into their name. So without that, we can't get stuff turned on. It doesn't happen that way here. They want to see a name on an account. They want to see who owns the house, and then they'll turn it on. So those things are kind of important, even though they might seem not so important to some. So
Yeah.
they're very key ingredients to being or getting into a smooth transition. So
Yeah. And the other thing as well, just on the same subject, is, I mean, we want this to be, we have the investor's best interest to heart here. We want them to have
of course, yeah. So
productive investment that's managed well, that's ticking over, in the hope that they'll see it as a working investment, and hopefully they'll want to buy more similar product, more similar properties, and build a portfolio. So we're in this for the long term. So yeah, it's in our best interest to help them and get their investment working for them as soon as possible, so that they like it and hopefully will come back for more.
Absolutely, that's our goal.
Yeah.
Our goal is to make our investors happy and get as many homes secured as we can this year. And I suspect that and we're coming into an election year in 2020. So some of the climate will change down the road, and we can move with that as well. We know how. So, but this year we want to focus on buy and holds.
Yeah.
And get as many as we can under our belt for not only our investors but ourselves as well. So, like I say, I come across these all day long. So it's I know it's cliche-ish. To me, it's just another house or investment, but it is an investment for someone that thinks like us and wants to move like us. So
Yeah, absolutely.
we're happy to have them come aboard, and we treat them the same way we treat ourselves. So
yeah. Excellent. Thanks, Brian. It's been really good talking about this investment. Looking forward to this one. I like the look of this one a lot.
yeah, it's a sweet little deal. And I think I had one of my trainees. He caught a over in the Detroit Shoreway. He caught a single family home. So it's a cottage. It's actually a cottage.
Mm-hmm.
Good starter home for a young couple or maybe a single person. I think he picked it up for forget, but we're going to probably offer that for like 42, I think.
Okay.
And it's again a single family home, and it's almost complete. It's almost renovated. It does need to be repainted inside, but all the drywall work is done. It's a nice little place for another rental. So,
Okay.
but again, I'm sure that this one here, they'll jump on that one first before the other one. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
they're all going to be different. And again, a single family home has a different evaluation here. We can get the maximum refinance out of it as opposed to a duplex. So that's a slightly different strategy. However, it's just as lucrative. So, whether it's a duplex, a triplex, we even have quadplexes here, as opposed to a single family home.
Yeah.
Single family homes are still as lucrative as this one might be. So, or can be anyway. So,
Okay, great. Thanks, Brian. Right, I'll get this listed and sent out, and hopefully we'll be in touch soon.
all right. And both, by the way, both of these, this one and the other one, the single family home I just mentioned, they all fall within opportunity zones here, which are better tax breaks for the investors as well.
I remember you mentioned that.
Basically, what that is the home itself. You can divert taxes paid on it all the way up to like 2047, I believe, is the
Wow.
cutoff point. Providing that you do certain things, but you can actually avoid paying some taxes on the profit you make on like this one. We'll talk about more of that when we get into our tax stuff. So it's a nice little deal as well. Keep more of our money, and believe me, I like to keep my money. So
Yeah,
I'm sure
definitely.
everybody else that's listening does too. So we'll talk about that in our some of our tax stuff. And also remember, we're not giving tax advice. Just showing you how to keep more. So,
that was a disclaimer, that, by the way. Yeah.
I think so. So
Yeah. Okay, great, Brian. Anything else you want to add? Or
that's it for now. Let's
okay.
let's get this puppy sold and on to the next and the next and the next. So
Yeah. Sounds good.
all right.
Okay,
Thanks
Brian.
for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.
Okay, take care.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.